Yeah, this is a new ignition module for the McCulloch Pro Mac 610, and I'm not sure why this one broke. It was working before I took it out, and I think the only thing that happened to it was I washed it off a little bit and wiped it down, which means this thing must have been cracked or something, or in some water got in it and it shorted out or something. I don't know what happened to it. Must have been ready to go anyway. It's real easy to take off to get at this ignition module. You take off your starter housing, right, first, which is on the outside here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 torque screws, right? Torque screws. After this comes off, okay, which is screwed onto this, okay, with the gas tank is over here. You take out one screw here, one screw there, one screw here, and one screw here. They're all torque screws, okay? And it's easiest, take your needle nose pliers, pull off the hose on a carburetor, and the hose comes out from underneath this. You see this, the hole right here. It's not a tight fit over here. That's why you need this gasket to keep any sawdust from coming in where the air cleaner box is. That's not a tight interference fit where that hose comes through. The fuel line comes through. Then this mounts right there with these two screws, okay? And the wire gets routed up over this. It comes up, the wire for the ignition module comes up over this, and it goes down right here, okay, right there where this slot is, right here in the cover, okay? So when the cover is over this, the hose would be up in here. This, the wire would go up over the top of this, up through here, up over the top of this, and down through that. I don't know if I'm not going to put it on there all the way, but you can see what I'm saying, right? Am I making that clear? The wire comes up over that, not under this, comes through here, up over that, and then down through here. And then your ground wire is attached to your switch here, and then you got your little grommet, which goes, the grommet, which is this grommet right here, goes right in here. Okay, that's that little spot on your cover. That's your grommet. That's the grommet, holds the wire in for the spark plug. Now, the distance where this sits up, this wire, this ignition wire is not a resistor wire. It's a metal wire inside. It's like it's like the real old cars, probably in the 30s, used to have that non-resistor wires. You screw this in. There's a screw on the top of this in here. You screw this wire in and use a little bit of RTV sealant, or you can use some kind of weather strip adhesive. I didn't use weather strip adhesive because if I ever want to take this wire out, I'll never get it out, But that's enough to keep the moisture out. I'm not sure why this thing broke, but it must have been ready to go, just like the gas line was ready to break. Now, to the distance between these two contact points right here, which mounts up in here, right? This mounts here like this, okay? The distance between those two contact points, and here's the two magnets, right, is 10 thousandths of an inch, but you can use 10 to 12 thousandths. If you use a business card, you'll find that it's, see that? It's about 11 and a half, 12 thousandths, right? 12 thousandths. That's close enough. 10, 12 thousandths is fine. I think the spec, I don't know, the spec is not, it's not that minuscule perfect. I mean, you don't want to be 5 thousandths, you don't want to be 20 thousandths. 10 to 12 thousandths is fine. A business card works great because it's non-magnetic. You used to use these brass or bronze feeler gauges for these type of things because they would have no drag. You know, like in other words, when you put a steel feeler gauge through something next to a magnet, you know, obviously you're going to get some drag, even when if it's, say you put a 10,000 steel feeler gauge through something, you're going to feel drag because of the magnet, even if it was at 15 thousandths. So in a way, even though this business card is maybe 2 thousandths bigger than spec, 12 thousandths works fine. It's gonna be a lot easier. Besides, you can bend it around that when you install it, and just install it against this, and then pull it out, and you're good, right? You're good. Now I'm going to show you how to check this with a drill. You can put a drill on here and you want to spin it this way, the same way the saw goes. Like in other words, this chain goes this way, and then on the bottom it goes that way, so this thing spins counterclockwise. You can put a drill on here and start it slow and keep, you know, with the spark plug out and without the ground wire attached or nothing. You can check it for spark. Now normally, if you're checking it for spark, and you don't have a spark tester, you'd really want to make this gap about a good 1/4 inch to make sure it jumps across, because when it's under compression, it takes a lot more to spark across the 25,000 spark plug gap than when it's out in just atmospheric compression air, right? Just out in the, you know, no compression. It takes more to spark. So, you know, even though you might see a spark jumping across the 25,000 spark plug gap, you might want to check it with, you know, a bigger gap, like a 1/4 inch or something like that. You know, this way you're more than likely to work under compression. Under compression, it takes more electricity voltage for it to spark. So sometimes when you see a spark with a 25,000 gap, it doesn't spark when it's under compression, so you think that's a weak spark. Well, we're going to test this one again, and I don't know if it's fixed because it's been sitting around and it dried out. I actually put this in the oven at 200 degrees for a little while to try to heat it up and get some crap out of there or whatever was in it, because it just didn't work. It just was no spark. It might be working now, but if it's working now, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use the new one, because I think this one is the original one and it's just about ready to go. You know, it's not going to be reliable. If it gets a little moisture, it's not going to work. I want the new one. Well, let's see the old coil. You're going to start out slow with a variable speed drill. I don't see any freaking spark. So, and actually this card works out better because you can put the module in there with the card, and then rotate this, and then the magnets are right there, and then the magnets hold it in. And since this is not magnetized, it's going to go right through this, and then you'll have it at about 12 thousandths, 11 thousandths, which is plenty damn close enough. Well, let's see this one. That one's working. There you go. So it should start. Well, there's little Onyx the cat. Well, I got it back together, so this thing should run. That's good. And it's nice, it's got a nice new spark plug wire on it too. So just got to put the air cleaner on it and a little cover, which is nothing. So something wrong with this damn thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. They're very it might have been ready to go, just like the fuel line was just almost was ready to snap too. I mean, it was still working, but it just snapped like it crumbled. So I put a new fuel line in there too.